Hi everyone, today we will be reading a book called uh, A Brief History of Mankind, Sapiens. The name is Sapiens, okay? Okay, so it's the book that you see in the picture, okay? So I will be reading the first chapter, uh, and the introduction of the first chapter, okay? Okay, let's start. About 13.5 billion years ago, matter, energy, time, and space came into being in what is known as the Big Bang. The story of these fundamental features of our universe is called physics. About 300,000 years ago, about 300,000 years later, after their appearance, matter and energy started to coalesce into complex structures called atoms, which then combine into molecules. The story of atoms, molecules, and their interactions is called chemistry. About 3.8 billion years ago, on a planet named Earth, certain molecules combined to form particularly large and intricate structures called organisms. The stories of organisms is called biology. About 70,000 years ago, organisms belonging to the species Homo sapiens started to form even more elaborate structures called cultures. The subsequent development of these cultures is called history. Three important revolutions shaped the course of history. The cognitive, the cognitive, cognitive, cognitive revolution kick-started history about 70,000 years ago. The agricultural revolution sped it up about 12,000 years ago. The scientific revolution, which got underway only 500 years ago, may well end history and start something completely different. This book tells the story of how these three revolutions have affected humans and their fellow organisms. There were humans long before there was history. Animals, much like modern humans, first appeared about 2.5 million years ago. But for countless generations, they did not stand out from the myriad other organisms with which they shared their habitats. On a hike in East Africa 2 million years ago, you might well have encountered a familiar cast of human characters, anxious mothers cuddling their babies and clutches of carefree children playing in the mud. Temper, tem, temperamental youths chafing against the dictates of society, and weary elders who just wanted to be left in peace, chest humping Michaels trying to impress the local beauty and wise old marches, marriages, who had already seen it all. These archaic, arch, arch, archaic humans love played, form close relations, form close friendships, and competed for status and power. But so did chimpanzees, but baboons, and elephants. There was nothing special about them. Nobody, least of all humans themselves, had any inkling that their descendants would one day walk on the moon, split the atom, phantom the genetic code, and write history books. The most important thing to know about prehistoric humans is that they were insignificant animals with no more impact on their environment than gorillas, fireflies, or jellyfish. Biologists classify organisms into species. Animals are said to belong to the same species if they tend to mate with each other, giving birth to fertile offspring. Horses and donkeys have a recent common ancestor and share many physical traits, but they show little sexual interest in one another. They will mate if induced to do so, but their offspring, called mules, are fertile. Mutations in donkey DNA can therefore never cross over to horses, or vice versa. The two types of animals are consequently considered two distinct species, moving along separate evolutionary paths. By contrast, a bulldog and a spaniel may look very different, but they are members of the same species. They share the same DNA pool. They will happily mate, and their puppies will grow up to pair off with other dogs and produce more puppies. Species that that evolve from a common ancestors are bunched together under the heading genus or plural genera. Lions, tigers, leopards, and jaguars are different species within the genus. Within the genus Panthera, biologists label organisms with a two-part Latin name, genus, followed by species. Lions, for example, are called Panthera leo, the species Leo of the genus Panthera. Presumably, everyone reading this book is a Homo sapiens. The species Sapiens, or wise, of the genus Homo, or man. Genera, in their turn, are grouped into families such as the cats, the dogs, and the elephants. All members of a family trace their lineage back to a founding matriarch or patriarch. All cats, for example, from the smallest house kitten to the most furious lion, showed a common feline ancestor who lived about 25 million years ago. Homo sapiens, too, belong to a family. This banal fact used to be one of history's most closely guarded secrets. Homo sapiens alone preferred to view itself as set apart from animals and orphaned, bereft, bereft of family, lacking siblings or cousins, and most importantly, without parents. But that's just not the case. Like it or not, we are members of a large and particularly noisy family called the great apes. Our closest living relatives include chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans. The chimpanzees are the closest. Just 6 million years ago, a single female ape had two daughters. One had become the ancestor of all chimpanzees. The other was the other is our own grandmother. And that's all for the first chapter's introduction. The end.